Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're a cleaning professional, you already know that your time is quite literally your most valuable asset. So today, we are cracking open the ultimate toolkit to help you master your workflow, maximize your efficiency, and totally eliminate that stressful second guessing on the job. We're decoding the standard operating procedures for different clean types. By the end of the session, you're going to have a crystal clear mental map of exactly what is required for every single job you step into. It's the million-dollar question, isn't it? How do you know exactly when to stop cleaning? We've all been there. You get hired for a standard job, but suddenly you find yourself scrubbing baseboards and hand vacuuming upholstery. That right there is called scope creep, and it is the absolute enemy of your schedule and your profitability. This guide is built to fix that. We are establishing incredibly clear boundaries so you know exactly where your checklist ends. This way, you can deliver absolute perfection without giving away your hard work for free.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap. First, the standard clean baseline. Then, deep clean upgrades, move-in and move-out preps, post-construction specials, and finally, Airbnb turnarounds. Now, rather than trying to memorize 5 massive, separate lists, we're going to use a baseline plus delta approach. We establish your everyday standard and then simply look at what changes, the delta, for everything else.
All right, Section 1, the standard clean baseline.
Let's set our foundation.
Here is your everyday toolkit for all rooms. Notice the language we're using here because it's very specific. We are vacuuming and mopping all readily accessible floors. That means we aren't moving heavy couches or breaking our backs, right? We're dusting the ceiling fans, windowsills, ledges, and the outside of fireplaces and mantles. We're shining up the mirrors, emptying the wastebaskets, and making sure those garbage cans are emptied and relined with fresh bags. Think of this as your bread and butter. It's that reliable, surface-level reset that makes a home feel fresh and beautifully maintained. Moving into those high-traffic zones, the kitchen and the bathroom. Keep in mind, for a standard clean, the kitchen tasks focus heavily on the exterior. We are cleaning the outside of the appliances, including the stovetop and drip pans, and wiping down the countertops. The only major interior we are tackling here is the microwave. In the bathrooms, it's all about that essential sanitation. The tub, shower walls, vanities, and toilets are completely cleaned and disinfected. And wrapping up our standard baseline, let's look at the bedrooms. The workflow here is incredibly straightforward. Beds are made, furniture and knickknacks get a thorough dusting, and we vacuum the empty closet floors. That's it. That is your entire standard clean baseline. Lock this mental checklist in your head right now, because everything we talk about from this point forward just builds right on top of this foundation.
Which brings us to Section 2, deep clean upgrades. Let's step it up a notch.
Now, what's really interesting here is that a deep clean is literally just your standard clean, plus some seriously targeted elbow grease. Suddenly, you aren't just wiping the stovetop, you are doing a full inside oven wipe down. You aren't just doing a light dusting, you are providing streak-free interior window cleaning, getting into cabinet drawers and handles, and scrubbing down those baseboards. Notice that we are also adding hand vacuuming for the upholstery. When a client books a deep clean, these specific additions, these deltas, are exactly what you need to hit.
Okay, Section 3, move-in and move-out preps.
Listen, before we even think about looking at a checklist, we need to talk about boundaries. This is the absolute first check you must make before starting any move-in or move-out job. It is a hard rule. We only perform this service on vacant homes, no exceptions. On top of that, there absolutely must be active electricity and running water and 0 biohazards present. If you show up and the home is still full of moving boxes or the water is shut off, the job cannot proceed as a move-in or move-out clean.
Assuming all those boxes are checked, the property is vacant, which completely shifts the narrative of your clean. You are prepping a blank canvas for a brand new resident. So your upgrades from the baseline are all about the deep sanitization of storage and structural elements. You are now cleaning the inside of the refrigerator and the inside of all cabinets and drawers. You're spot-treating walls, wiping down every single door, frame, and jamb. You're hitting those baseboards and interior windows. The whole goal is making an empty space feel brand new.
Moving right along to Section 4, post-construction specials.
You have to completely change your mindset for this one. In a normal environment, standard dusting involves a quick wipe of fans, sills, and shelves. But post-construction, it's a whole different beast. The protocol here mandates a strict dust quality inspection with complete, thorough removal. You're not just moving dust around to make it look nice, you are eliminating it. That means a deep clean of all the blinds and digging deep into window and door tracks to remove that heavy, stubborn particulate buildup.
It's an incredibly meticulous process.
Finally, Section 5, Airbnb turnarounds.
So the physical cleaning for an Airbnb actually closely mirrors our standard clean baseline. You know the drill: vacuuming, mopping, light dusting, and disinfecting bathrooms and kitchens. But there are a couple of notable extras on your baseline for these jobs. You are now responsible for doing the dishes, and you've got to clean the outdoor furniture. But honestly, the physical cleaning is only half the job. The real delta for an Airbnb turnaround is all about the staging.
This is where you step into the role of a hospitality expert. Your staging protocol means laundering all the bedding, bath mats, hand towels, and small rugs so they are perfectly fresh for the next guest. You need to do a light clean of the interiors of small appliances like microwaves and toasters. Beds aren't just made, they are made specifically to the owner's exact requests. And finally, you're restocking supplies: soap, coffee, paper towels. You have to pay intense attention to the specific client notes here, because your staging directly impacts that owner's next 5-star review.
So we've covered the standard baseline, the deep clean details, the vacant move-in and move-outs, the rigorous post-construction dust removal, and the hospitality-focused Airbnb turnaround. By visualizing that everyday baseline and then simply adding the specific upgrades for each job type, you completely eliminate scope creep. You know exactly where to start, and more importantly, exactly when to stop. So I'll leave you with this: which baseline and delta are you going to apply to your next assignment? Keep this toolkit in your back pocket, work smart out there, and I'll see you in the next explainer.